So if you're not digesting your foods properly, if you have some food allergies, if you're not getting enough fluids or you're drinking at the wrong times, you can actually create a lot of digestive issues. So then your food's not breaking down and your body's not getting fed properly. So I want to kind of explain how your digestion works. So I want you to think about the fact that the first part of your digestion starts in your mouth while you're chewing your food. So all the carbohydrates are going to get coated with amylase, which is a digestive enzyme that is only in your saliva. So if you don't chew very well, you already start with in the negative when it comes to digestion because you're not coating your food with enough of those enzymes to break it down. And then that food goes, you swallow it and it gets into the stomach, and the stomach needs to be very acidic in order to digest food properly. And that's where all the parasites should be broken down, what we were talking about. For those of you who came in later, we were talking about parasites earlier. Your body has a self-sustaining mechanism for getting rid of parasites, and that's in your stomach. So if you have enough acid in your stomach, you won't have any problems with parasites. And then the food goes from your stomach directly into the small intestine. And oddly enough, it went from a really acidic environment, and now that new environment's supposed to be really alkaline. And if it isn't, then the pancreas won't release pancreatic enzymes to finish digesting the protein, and then you're kind of, out of luck when it comes to digestion. So back when I had a medical spa years ago in Idaho, I had a really expensive and very complicated routine that I put people through, taking all kinds of supplements and drinking. We were drinking reverse osmosis water, and kind of taking them through this. And then once I got my ionizer, I'm like, wow, I think I could do that protocol with just water. And I tried it, and it actually worked better than all the other stuff because it retrains your body on when it's supposed to produce certain things, and it helps balance the pHs. It's amazing. Anyway, so because we have these different pHs that need to, exist, what I want people to do or to consider doing is that as many times a day as you can fit it in, and at the beginning, it's kind of important to get this routine down so that you're doing it with all of your meals, and then after you've done it for 500 days, because that's how long liver cells last, then you can start really slacking off. But in those first 500 days, to do it as many meals a day as you can. And that is 45 minutes before a meal, you're going to drink a small amount of very alkaline water. So you're going to drink about a quarter cup of this strong alkaline water. And you're going to immediately follow that with your regular drinking water, whether you're drinking 8.5 or 9 or 9.5. You want to follow that with, and there's a formula in here that tells you how, figure out how much you're supposed to drink based on body weight and exercise and that kind of thing. But then you would drink some 9.5 water. And then if you're taking any supplements like digestive enzymes and get that kind of thing, you swallow them with that 9.5 water. And now you wait 45 minutes before you have anything else. And then with the very first bites of your meal, in order to create a really acidic environment in your stomach, you take a couple of tablespoons of the very strong acid water with your first bites of food. Now, for anyone who has acid reflux, this will, in 99.99% of cases, this will eliminate acid reflux. Because acid reflux doesn't happen because you have too much stomach acid. It happens because you don't have enough stomach acid, and the sphincter between your esophagus and your stomach won't close if there's not enough acid in there. So this helps retrain your body to make enough hydrochloric acid to make digestion complete. And then after you eat, you don't drink anything for at least 30 minutes. And if you start paying attention, you'll notice when you're finished with digestion. And then you can start drinking water again. But basically, the amount of water that you're going to drink throughout the day is, so you take your body weight. So let's because it's easy. Let's take 150 pounds, and you're going to drink half of that body weight in ounces. So 150 divided in half is 75 ounces. So it's because half of 150 is 75. So that's the number of ounces that you would drink a day. And we kind of break it up, and so that you're drinking like 12 ounces at a time. And some water you can sip throughout the day, but other times you have to drink a whole lot at one time. So I want you to think about when you're flushing out toxins, when you're after you've exercised, if you're going through a cleanse, if you're having any symptoms when you first start drinking the water. You have to think about it kind of the way you flush a toilet. Like, you cannot flush solid waste out of the toilet if you only use a teaspoon at a time, right? You have to put a whole bunch of water in order to get it out. It's the same thing with our bodies. We have to drink a bunch of water at one time. So I usually like to see people do that first thing in the morning, and then the rest of the day, you can kind of sip. It's good to have 2 or 3 times a day when you're drinking a lot of water at once, some at least 10 ounces. But this is all in the formula. It kind of helps you understand how much water to drink when, based on your body weight and your exercise level and whether you're in a hot or a cold climate. And then there are some of us who are constitutionally not thirsty. We already have damp constitutions, and there are people who have hot, dry constitutions, and they're thirsty all the time. Those of us who have a damp constitution, we have to make ourselves drink water. And the people who have a hot or an arid constitution, it's all about Chinese medicine, they crave drinking water all the time. But I will tell you that if it's been difficult for you to drink water and you start doing this water protocol, you will train yourself to be thirsty at the right times.
And being that it's New Year's resolution, I know a lot of people are trying to lose weight. Can you educate us on how this is going to help people break down more body fat?
So when you digest your food properly, a couple of things happen. You get satiated with less food. Because when you are not digesting your foods properly and you're not getting enough vitamins and minerals and protein into your cells, your body's going to keep asking for food until you get enough food in there that it's getting what it needs. And then you can kind of make yourself get in a habit of eating more food than your body actually requires. So the other thing to keep in mind is that when you're drinking enough water, your body doesn't ask for things like oranges or, juicier fruits. If you are not drinking enough water, your body's going to ask you to eat things that have a high water content because it needs fluid. And so by giving it what it needs, it's going to quit asking for the things it doesn't need. And that alone makes a huge difference. If you're in the habit of drinking things like sodas and, all juices and things like that, they do have a lot of fluid in them, but it's not the same as water because they all require your digestion to be involved in breaking them down so your body can utilize it. But water's not like that. Water doesn't need to be digested. So it passes directly from your stomach into your small intestine, and then it's taken up into your bloodstream, and then your body quits asking for fluid-filled foods. The other thing is that if you're drinking enough water and you're drinking it properly, you really do begin to notice that you are not very hungry. You're not as hungry as you used to be. And that really helps. Drinking the 11.5 or the strong alkaline water before a meal to get that small intestine nice and alkaline like it's supposed to be so it'll properly digest food. It also helps properly digest fat, and that makes a huge difference. Now, as you're drinking the water and your cells begin to lose that layer of oxidation, which at some point maybe we can get into at a later date, the issue is that now all these nutrients can get into the cells more effectively, and that also helps you not your body not ask for foods as frequently. So there's about a dozen or more ways that the water helps you. It helps as your liver's getting cleaned up. That makes a huge difference in your hormonal swings and your ability to digest fats. Because when you have an excess of um, toxins in your body, whether it's heavy metals, or I've had a few recent exposures to mold. And so I can always tell when that happens because I start ballooning up a bit. And I know it's because I'm kind of susceptible to the toxins in mold. My body really hates it. So when those sorts of things happen, when your body has more toxins than your liver can handle, your liver becomes overloaded. Your body stores the toxins away in a fat cell. So fat is nature's Tupperware to store toxins that would otherwise be really harmful to your body. So as you start cleaning up your liver can handle the toxins, and so the fat starts to be able to release the toxins and go away. Does that make sense? So for some people, their livers are in pretty good shape, and so that starts happening lickety split. For some of us, it took 500 days for that to kick in for me, and every time I stray, it comes back again. So it's always a barometer of how well I've been taking care of my environment, whether or not I have extra pounds to lose.
For that. And one other question I have too is people that have been on acid reflux medication for years, what are they going to start to notice, and what do those things side effect wise cause within the body because of being on them for so long?
You know, the real danger of these drugs for people who have been taking for a long time is that they actually are, a lot of the acid reflux drugs are protein. Um, they inhibit the release of acid to break down the protein, because traditional philosophy says if you have acid reflux, it's because you have too much stomach acid. So they shut down the pumps that would normally release hydrochloric acid to digest your food. And so what happens is that people go through years and years and years and years and years of never digesting protein very well, which can cause colon cancer, number one. The number one thing it causes is colon cancer. But the drugs themselves have to be processed by the liver. And so there's a lot of issues with fatty liver development. I mean, the truth of the matter is that statins to help with cholesterol and protein, what is it? Well, the inhibitors that like the purple pill, what are they called?
Protein pump inhibitors, or
It's not protein. It's
starts with a Z, doesn't it?
yeah, Zicam. Is that it?
Omeprazole.
Yes,
Yeah.
omeprazole.
What they do is, like I said, they inhibit your stomach from releasing acid, and so then you're cell by cell, your body starts to suffer because it's not getting enough protein, it's not getting enough fat, it's not getting enough of anything, and you're actually wearing away parts of your esophagus for a different reason. When you have acid reflux, that burns it and can cause some real difficulties health-wise. But there are other things that start happening on the opposite end of the esophagus as you're going into the small intestine, because there is not enough acid to kill the parasites, the viruses, the bacteria. And so you get a lot more of that action, making it out of the stomach, into the small intestine, and into the colon. So that's when you see a lot more parasitic infections, a lot more ulcers developing, all kinds of things like that. So by just retraining your body how to do what it's supposed to do, just, doesn't it just make sense that that's a better way to treat your body, is just cooperate with it?